Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Greening Your Closet, where we're going to learn about how to make our wardrobe more sustainable, as well as how to help women with children experiencing poverty here in Tarrant County. So we're so excited to partner with Lori at the Center for Transforming Lives in the Resale Shop. This has been a talk I've long wanted to do, and Lori has been part of our Earth Day event for, I think this might be the third year actually, that we've done something in some capacity. And we really like bringing different kind of topics, and clothes are something we all wear. So I think it's going to be really relevant. I looked through the comments people posted of what they hope to learn tonight. And we're going to have a question and answer after Lori gets done talking. And so we'll be able to answer all your questions. And just want to let everybody know this is our part of our virtual Earth Day celebration. So it is hosted by HSE Sustainability, and which is a student-funded initiative through facilities management. And if you're interested in learning more about our Earth Day event, you can just go to unthsc.edu/earthday, and you can get a chance to get this free water bottle. So I want to introduce Lori Palumbo to us tonight. She is the Director for Social Enterprise over at the Center for Transforming Lives. She has over 10 years of experience in the apparel industry and a degree in fashion design from Syracuse University. And she's utilized this extensive background to help others learn how to green their closets, which is why we're here today, their homes, their lives through the Resale Shop. And it's really located close to us here on campus. So Lori, we're so excited to have you here tonight. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you take over. And everyone, just a reminder to feel free to post questions in the chat as we get going.
Perfect. Let me get this PowerPoint open. Can everybody see that? Are we good, Sandy?
Yeah, looks great.
Perfect. So thank you for the introduction, Sandy. Again, my name is Lori Palumbo, and I work here at the Center for Transforming Lives. I'll go a little bit into detail about CTL and the Resale Shop kind of further in, but first, we're going to talk about me so that you can really understand why I am an expert in this realm. So I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design from Syracuse University, and I have over 10 years in the apparel industry. So when I say that, I'm born and raised from Southern California. I grew up right outside of LA. And I remember going to the garment district, when I was 12 years old and seeing rolls of fabric everywhere and being so fascinated on how clothing made it from that roll of fabric into the garments that we wear every day. I have worked for a multitude of different apparel companies. Like I said, since I'm from Southern California, I worked out there directly after college at a small costuming company where our design process was about a year. And I worked all the way from design, all the way, we did performance pieces. So all the way until it was on a stage or on a field. I then moved to the great state of Texas about 9 years ago, and I worked at a Western wear company called Panhandle Slim Western Wear. And then I also worked at Dickies most recently for about 5 years. When I was at Dickies, I really learned about the raw material aspect of the fashion industry. So the fashion industry itself, when it comes to pollution, the fashion industry is one of the largest contributors in the world. Now, just to tell you, I'm going to tell you all the negative things first, and then I'll end with a lot of positives. Not only does it pollute, but the materials that make up the fabrics directly impact and contribute to all of a lot of water consumption, a lot of pollution, gas emissions, rainforest destruction, and lastly, epic proportion of landfill waste, which is the big topic that I want to talk about tonight, is how we can avoid that landfill moving forward. So I am obsessed with this documentary called The Patriot Act on Netflix. It's only a 30-minute episode, and he talks about a million different industries, but the ugly truth of fast fashion is something that I draw a lot of inspiration for. So back in the 80s, an average American bought 12 new items a year. Now that sounds about right. When I was in grade school, we would go to Old Navy or wherever, and I'd get 2 pairs of pants, a couple jackets, a couple tops, and I was set for the year. Now, 40 years later, an average American buys 68 new items a year. Now, me personally, that seems a little low, probably based on the amount of items that I can buy in a year. Only half of those items are only worn 3 times. So I'm talking about especially, the dresses you buy to go to someone's wedding, a bridesmaid dress, or a lot of the fast fashion that we see, that trendy clothes, the clothes that are hyped, quick, disposable, the newest and the greatest. So the popular brands that I'm referring to a lot of times are like the Fashion Novas out there, the Top Shops, the Zara's, H&M, Forever 21, the list can go on and on. We definitely live in a culture where it's the see now, buy now mentality. We want to be able to get that swipe up on Instagram and be able to buy those fashion items that we see right away. For typical lifestyle brands, the design process is anywhere from 2 to 5 years. And as someone who's worked in the industry for the past 10 years, I know that process pretty well. When I worked on the raw material aspect, especially at Dickies, we were developing fabrics and trims 5 years before it would ever hit a sales floor. Now, fast fashion can do that in less than 7 days. Because we live in a digital age, it is a lot easier, obviously, now to turn around things more quickly. But also, they are just having fabric on hand. And when they see something happen, they can whip it around in less than 24 hours. So a great thing to think about is like Kim Kardashian saw walking down a runway in this black dress. Within 24 hours, Fashion Nova was able to replicate that dress and have it already available for sale on their website. That's what I'm talking about when I say fast fashion. Fast fashion usually has new releases every week. If you're someone who loves a Zara or an H&M, which I do too, I'm not talking down to them. You can go into the store every single Monday and there will be new releases every week. We're at the point where we're drowning in clothing. We've all gone to malls. There's so many different stores, so many different retailers now. There is a surplus of clothing at any time. The biggest culprit for a lot of this is social media. We want to look the best for these Zoom meetings. We want to have the freshest outfits on Instagram, and we want this instant gratification right away. Also, something that's popular today is that our outfits or our looks change throughout the day. I will be the first one to admit I've worn 4 different outfits today. Woke up in PJs, put on a work attire for work, decided to work out, wore another outfit, and now I'm here now in another outfit. That is something that's changed just in our society over the last 40 years. Now, raw materials themselves are what's destructive. Now, there is obviously the waste of buying and selling clothing, but the raw materials itself are what causes so much pollution. For the fact that a jean jacket can take 10,000 liters of water to make one jean jacket, that's equivalent to 24 years of drinking water for myself. It takes 342 gallons of oil a year to make synthetic fabrics for popular leggings like Lululemon. Again, I have plenty of pairs of yoga pants. It's just unfortunately the ugly truth of it. Viscose, which is another fabric that we see a lot of, comes from 33% of threatened forest, and 70% of that wood used is discarded after the process. So not only are we cutting down ancient and threatened forests, but we're also just completely discarding the materials at the end. The average American throws away 80 pounds of clothing. So I find this very interesting as someone who is obviously very closely related to a resale shop. Clothing is our number one thing we get, but we don't get a lot of household items or linens or things like that. People are more willing to throw away clothing than almost anything else in their home. If people wore clothes just 9 months longer, it could reduce our carbon footprint by 30%. If everyone bought one used item per year, it would get rid of 6 pounds of carbon emission, and that is equivalent to 500,000 cars off the road for a year. Now, the number one thing you can do is you can thrift. So thank you, Macklemore, for making that thrift shop song. Thrift shopping has grown tremendously over the past few years, and I'm talking about in a COVID world. With the events of the past few months changing the way many of us as consumers look at purchasing, is likely to become more mainstream in the future. So the number one thing is secondhand clothing. Buying items prior to them ending up into a landfill. So that can even mean like clothing swaps with your friends. I'm done with this dress. How can I have someone else have it? And then donating your unwanted items, again, not just your clothing. Another way that we find this is we keep our money local here in Tarrant County. So this is my perfect segue to my favorite place in Fort Worth, which is the Resale Shop. The Resale Shop is owned and operated by the Center for Transforming Lives. And so in order you guys to understand more about our organization, I'm going to take a couple steps back and tell you a little bit about CTL. I have been with the Center for Transforming Lives for about 3 years now. The Center for Transforming Lives works side by side with Tarrant County women and their children to disrupt the cycle of poverty by providing comprehensive housing services, early childhood education, and economic mobility services. We are able to address their most critical needs and support mothers in creating long-term sustainability for their families. Each year, we work with hundreds of families to, no matter where they are on their journey from poverty to prosperity. Our approach is trauma-informed, 2-generational, and incorporates the best practices rooted in nationally backed research to ensure families achieve long-term success. I like to show you guys this little graphic, which you can find on the Center for Transforming Lives website. And this is just showing the cycle of poverty, especially here in Tarrant County. A statistic that I learned pretty early into my time at Center for Transforming Lives was that the average child that is homeless here in Tarrant County is 1 year old. And that's an average. So hearing that number is really hard. Hearing that number is something that most people, when they hear that, want to figure out how they can make that change. So what is a social enterprise? You probably saw my title and you're like, what does that girl do? What does that mean? A social enterprise is an organization that marries the social mission of a nonprofit with a market-driven approach of a business. So basically, the easiest way to explain it is that we have multiple small businesses. They meet community needs for goods or services. They generate revenue for our CTL programs, provide current and potential employment opportunities for our clients, volunteer opportunities for clients and our community. And they're an outlet for our community to learn how CTL works to transform the lives of women and children and families. Now, here at the Center for Transforming Lives, we have 3 different social enterprises that earn revenue to support our programs and services. First, we have Historic 512, which is a boutique events venue, which I will mention at the very end. Second is the Resale Shop, which is obviously what I'm mostly talking about today. And lastly, we also have childcare centers. I am not over that department, but just so you guys know, we do have that as well. The Resale Shop is located at 6500 Camp Bowie, probably from your guys' campus, no more than 10 minutes down Camp Bowie. It started in 2003 and moved to its current location in 2008. So we've been there for about 12, 13 years now. We sell our donated merchandise received from the community there. It also meets the community need for low-cost merchandise. You can find things in the Resale Shop starting at $1 all the way up to $50, $60, $70. So we do have a wide range. What I like to say for low-cost merchandise is we do have what we call our standard price items. Our standard price items are all of our jeans on the first floor are just $6. Now, if you do go up to our boutique section, that is where you'll be able to find your designer items like your J. Crews and your Banana Republics as well. So not only do we meet that need of low cost, I just need a pair of pants for $6, but we also have our higher designer brands as well, all under one roof. And we do the sorting for you. Provides clothing and household items for our CTL clients, and it's a popular location for volunteer opportunities. Our donations are received daily and are sorted, processed, tagged, and priced for sale. Once an item hits the sales floor, both the community and CTL client shoppers are able to purchase them. We give tax-deductible receipts for all who donate, and all proceeds benefit the programs and services here at Center for Transforming Lives. I like to say we accept everything. We accept men's, women's, and kids' clothing and shoes, accessories, handbags, purses, things like that. Jewelry, household goods, and decor, which are probably one of our biggest sellers. Think of like knickknacks, cute decor on your walls, lamps, linens. We also take furniture. And when I say furniture, we are looking for smaller furniture, like you would be moving into your very first apartment. So dining sets of 4 to 6, couches, love seats, things like that, beds, not the actual mattresses. Unfortunately, we don't take those, but bed frames. And then we last but not least take books, media, games. The biggest reason to donate to the Resale Shop is we understand that there's a lot of different places that you can donate to. The Resale Shop, everything stays local here in Tarrant County. First and foremost, we offer items to our clients through a process called Resale Bucks. It gives our clients a better sense of empowerment that they get to come into the store and pick out the items that they need. Now, remember, if there is a special circumstance that someone's looking for something, we'll still go behind the scenes and find them those items. But most clients like to come into the store themselves. They get to try on the clothes, they get to feel it, they get to pick out, what linens they want for their homes. And then the items that were not able to be used, because that happens as well, I won't sugarcoat that, is really used through partnerships. A partnership that we are really proud about is Charity Clothes and Shoes. They provide affordable wearable clothing and paired shoes to people in third world countries. Their company recycles all the textiles and takes them from us once a month or once a week. Sorry to say that. Since 94, they have processed over 1 billion pairs of shoes and garments. So again, the items that we're not able to sell in our storefront, we're able to at least give another life and not have them in our landfills. When you can't buy secondhand. Now, secondhand is always what I'm going to say you should do. At the Resale Shop, again, we have everything from Old Navy shirts for $1, $3, $4, all the way up to I see Tory Burch, I see Kate Spade, I see Lululemon, I see Athleta, I see Lily Pulitzer. I mean, I can go through the names of all the designers. We've even had Louis Vuitton items, Chanel items. We go through that process for you so you have a better shopping experience, because I know thrifting is one of those things that people think takes a lot of time. We have it so well organized that it hopefully is a little bit easier for you to shop there. But if you can't buy secondhand for certain items, what is there to look for in items that you are going to buy? Always buy items that you are going to own for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. So I'm talking about your denims, a great blazer, a great little black dress, all of those things that you need to keep in your wardrobe that will still be stylish or trendy or any of those things for years to come. If you're looking at fabrics, organic fabrics are going to be your best. So organic cotton, hemp, linen, and bamboo are at a very much easier to get and take less carbon emissions to make any of those fabrics. Animal derived fabrics like wool, silk, cashmere, and I like to say vegetable tanned leather, which is probably a word that you see here that you don't understand. Tannery is not a great process to watch. Watching leather actually be dyed it's very, very polluting. Vegetable tanned leather will be a lot more of a sustainable process. And then recycled polyesters, which you can find from bags, bottles, or recycled textiles or sustainable fabrics in general. So you have probably seen a lot of brands out there that have, they reuse denim, and this pair of pants has been made from 50% of recycled denim. Things like that. There's a lot more fashion companies out there that are doing that process and trying to cut down on their own waste. And then more sustainable brands. Now, again, when you're buying secondhand, you don't necessarily need to shop these because you're already giving that item a second life. But in my opinion, these are some of my favorite sustainable brands. Patagonia will always be my first and foremost. Prana, Eileen Fisher does a really great job. Bowden, Levi's has gotten a lot better throughout the past couple of years. Girlfriend Collective, and then I know majority of you guys probably already know about Universal Thread by Target. Target has started to bring in more sustainable brands into their storefront. They even have it for beauty products now as well. And then other things to think about are other places to shop resale. I'm clearly going to direct you to the Resale Shop first and foremost, but there's so many other options out there. There's ThredUp, which is just basically an online marketplace. There's Poshmark, where you can get a lot of things that you can sell there. And then one of my personal favorites is Rent the Runway. And the reason why I love Rent the Runway is because you can find that date night dress. You can find the dress you need for the weddings, those one-time special occasion garments. You can rent them instead of buying them. I will be honest, this dress is from Rent the Runway and it will go right back to them tomorrow morning. Things like that are great when you know that you're just never going to have that dress. I'll be honest, I still own my dress for my Sweet 16 birthday party in my closet because I can't handle throwing it away. Now I can hold on to those items or I can donate them to the resale shop and give them another life. But it means the next time you have a special event, maybe you rent it if you have that opportunity to. And then other ways just to live green. Help your community. I saw this past weekend that people were picking up trash at the Trinity River and the Trinity Trails. Leave natural areas better than how you found them. Use less plastic. Recycle and make it more convenient on yourself, your coworkers, your friends, and your family. I know that all of us have recycling bins at most of our homes and offices, but how can you make it easier? Do you put 2 trash cans in your office, one for recycling and one for trash? Do you have 2 in your kitchen so that you have it already pre-sorted before it goes out to waste management? Use less water just in general, shorter showers, dishwashing especially. Don't keep the water on the whole time that you're washing dishes. Try to turn it on and off. Plant more trees. A tree's going to live longer than all of us. So planting trees, maybe plant a flower garden. If you're a good green thumb, you can plant some herbs and, make your own food that way. Promote digital information. So I love this Zoom call. I probably haven't owned a notebook in about a year. Everything I do is digital. So whether I type it into my phone or I type it onto an Excel document, I try to keep everything in my life as digital as possible. And then last but not least, volunteering any of your free time to organizations like ourselves, the Center for Transforming Lives. Volunteers at the Resale Shop are critical to our mission at Center for Transforming Lives. Plus, we offer 25% off to volunteers on the days that they volunteer. If anybody is interested on this call, we are looking for summer interns. So that would be something that I would be able to talk through with so many of you if you were ever interested in that. Volunteers at the Resale Shop can be there 6 days a week. Our normal hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 5 o'clock. And so we will have volunteers on hand the entire time during that. And just because I promised you that we would talk about Historic 512, we also have a boutique events venue. It is mostly for weddings. These are a lot of pictures of our events venue. If you know anyone that is newly engaged or looking to have a socially distanced party, you can reach out directly to me as well when it comes to that. And I think I'm ready for some Q&A.
Sounds great. Lori, thank you so much. That was so much information. And I love how you threw in the, greener opportunities. A lot of what you suggested is things that we're talking a lot about with our Earth Day event. But I know some of the questions we're going to get is about, I know you mentioned donating to the Resale Shop. So do we just go anytime y'all are open, or what's the hours that we donate?
Yeah, so we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. You can donate that entire time. We are located at 6500 Camp Bowie. The cross street is Bingham. You will turn, if you're coming from, your area, you will turn left on Bingham and you'll see like the dumpster and a big yellow truck. That's where you pull up at our donation doors. You can't miss it. We've written on the walls donations and arrows. And you'll just pull up there and any volunteer or staff will be able to help you unload those items.
Okay, sounds great. And then I know during the registration, a lot of people said that they're looking to green their closet, but a lot of this information may be new for them. So how do you suggest that they get started if they have like a closet full of stuff and they're just like, okay, what's the first step?
Yeah, so the first step for going through your wardrobe is really going through the items that you will keep forever. So again, those denims, those key items, and then building your wardrobe from there. A lot of people have, loved this idea of a capsule wardrobe, which means that you usually have less than 20 items. I will be the first one to admit that will never work for me in my entire life. And I'm okay with admitting that about myself. But I think the first step is going through your clothing, see what fits and doesn't fit is always first and foremost. And then looking at your items, seeing those items that you just don't pull anymore. A trick that I do every year is I take all of my hangers as they normally face this way, and I turn them the opposite way. So the annoying way, if you were trying to get it off of the rack. And then I wait about a couple months and all the items that are still with the annoying way, I clearly did not pick those. I wore the other items, I put them back on the normal way. That's an easy way to just realize what you wear and you don't wear. Now, obviously there's some seasonal things in there, but also just going through that and seeing what you truly wear and don't wear and your day-to-day life. I know 2020 for a lot of us, we were like, we didn't wear any of our clothes, but we're gonna wear it. This is our new norm. So I really embrace looking at what you are wearing every single week or every single month and cutting out those items that you just don't use anymore. Donating them to the resale shop does help you and help others.
Okay, sounds great. And we had a question from Tony asking if you know of any other rental places that don't include a membership cost, like Rent the One Runway.
They're the ones that have the most. There is one called Rent the Dress, which is a Dallas local one. And they will be able to do that. I know that like Loft started doing rentals. I think Aloke is another brand that started doing rentals, but most of those are a membership cost.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. And one of the other questions that a lot of people had was, I know you mentioned that if y'all can't sell anything with the resale shop, that you donate it elsewhere. Does that also include, like, if you have a pair of shoes that are just really worn out, do you still want to take those?
So normally if there are shoes that are completely worn out, yes, we can send those to bulk as long as they have a pair. They have to be paired is the only thing. And if you do have any of those items that you know won't be resold, you can always put them in a separate bag and write bulk on it and tell us that when you donate it, hey, these are items that really you're probably not going to sell, but we can still bulk them for you so they're not just going in the trash can.
Okay, sounds good. And let me look through the questions here. So a lot of people are interested in kind of a capsule or classic pod. I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but anything else to kind of add to that? Or like,
yeah, so I
tips or
had a whole
resources?
slide for capsule and I didn't think anyone would be interested, so I edited it out. But a capsule collection is usually under 20 items. So a capsule, I've done it before for seasonal items, usually is about 5 pairs of pants, 6 tops, 2 dresses, and then outerwear and accessories on top of that to make up your 20 items. The biggest thing to think about are the colors that you normally wear. Most people will pick a base of either black or navy. I'm more of a navy person personally. And then you will start to add the items on top of that. So looking at a color story, I know myself really well. Obviously, I love the color red. I love the color pink. So those are kind of the colors that I gravitate to. You'll almost never see me in a true green or in a yellow. And kind of looking at your clothing and clothing that can mix and match with each other. So when you stay in those navies and the pinks and the turquoise, kind of what always matches. You're not going to throw in, you know, a random thing that doesn't match those items. So that's how you can easily pare down. A lot of people like it for like when you're vacation planning, right? No one wants to check a suitcase anymore. So let's take a really small carry-on and how can I put 2 weeks worth of clothes in it? It's the way that you mix and you match it. So if that means, you know, you have 1 pair of dark denim and 1 pair of light denim, then you will have 1 darker dress, 1 brighter dress. Looking at shoes that can be mixed and matched between pants to dresses. So a simple pair of like nude heels go with everything. Things like that to help you pare down. As you can tell, I have a shoe obsession behind me. And you don't need 16 different pairs of black shoes.
Right. Okay. So do you have any books or even Instagram followers or somebody that you would recommend if somebody is completely new, like needs some direction with capsule wardrobe? I would include myself in this.
I mean, I can do a whole segment on the resale shop. So how about you just follow the resale shop and I promise I will get to that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we can actually share the resale shop's Instagram stuff in the post email out to this. So we'll do that. Any other questions people want to ask? You can either chat it in the box or feel free to just join in.
Hey, Lori, I have a question.
Hi.
Hi, this is Denise. So my impression was that fashion really changed during the pandemic, like all of the, especially the fast fashion. Is that something you did? And is this something that is going to continue?
I hope so. I think definitely in the pandemic, we definitely became, you know, wanting to get stuff as quick as possible, and we weren't necessarily going into retailers. So there was a big push in the fashion industry to become more digital. And it is kind of taking out the middleman in that you're not having the retailers, you're going straight from the design process straight into your hand, basically. I am hoping that fast fashion, it's always going to be there, but it's not going to be at the forefront. I think the pandemic has really showed us that we care more about our whole economy and our whole society more than just a really cool graphic tee.
Great.
Lori, I thought your statistics at the beginning were really interesting about how back in the 1980s, we only bought like 12 new things, and now it's like 68. Do you see that? I mean, I know you kind of mentioned that there is a trend for buying secondhand is coming, but I mean, like people who, I'm just thinking of people who may not know this information, like what's the thing we should try to tell them or how to get them involved?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think I don't think you realize how much you can buy secondhand. I think a lot of us, I need a new coffee table. I'm going to go to IKEA. Now, I love IKEA, but where are ways that you can look at secondhand? So look at the Resale Shop, look at, your Goodwills. There's other ones that are more charity focused, like Very Good Buys and Grace, as I'm telling you, all of our competitors. There are so many different companies out there, even like Facebook Marketplace, things like that, so that you can start looking at other places instead of your first instinct being buy brand new from Target or IKEA. Spend a little bit of time. I will say it takes more time to shop secondhand. You're going to have to wait for that perfect item. It may not happen instantly.
Yeah, that's great advice. I have a 5 and a 3-year-old, and we just get our clothes at Kid to Kid or Once Upon a Child. I'm going to start coming to the resale shop now. But
mine are only $1, so just saying, yes, we're cheaper than Kid to Kid.
That is cheaper, and my children are both very picky about what they wear, so that's one reason we choose secondhand, is so I don't spend a bunch of money on something they're never going to choose to wear. But yeah, I think that's good to keep in mind. Is sometimes we just think, okay, we'll go to Target and get something, but it's really like a paradigm shift in our mind. So, all right, any other questions or comments? All right. Well, Lori, we just thank you so much. Appreciate your time tonight, and look forward to a conversation afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.